I think we always need to be mindful of the unknown potential for damage in any particular document that we handle. Mr. Assange can say whatever he likes about the greater good he thinks he and his source are doing, but the truth is they might already have on their hands the blood of some young soldier or that of an Afghan family.
That was Joint Chiefs Chairman Admiral Michael Mullen condemning the website WikiLeaks and its founder Julian Assange for the release this week of more than 90,000 classified military files from the war in Afghanistan. Assange says he withheld or edited thousands of documents that gave the names of Afghan civilians who provided intelligence to NATO troops. But the British newspaper The Times reports that it was able to find the names and in many cases the villages and fathers' names of dozens of Afghan informants in the information that WikiLeaks published. Wall Street Journal deputy editor and foreign affairs columnist Bret Stephens and editorial board member Matt Kaminsky join us with more on this story. So, Matt, very strong words from Admiral Mullen. Defense Secretary Gates was equally as critical. Does Assange have blood on his hands?
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's the real story here. WikiLeaks tried to manufacture the story of this war is going badly. It was embedded in this by the three papers that decided to publish this and splash it on their front pages earlier this week. But the real story is actually why do we keep these documents confidential? Because we want to protect sources in the field. We want to protect our methods in intelligence.
This was battlefield intelligence in many ways. These are reports from the battlefield by units that go up the chain of command about what's happening in their area, who they're talking to, and so on. So it's tactical battlefield information.
Absolutely. And a lot of it's very hard for anyone like us to understand what's going on.
Right.
But if you are a smart Taliban operative, you will spend the next couple of weeks going through it, trying to piece together how the Americans get their intelligence and who is helping where. And because there are names of villages, names of fathers.
Even of GPS coordinates in some cases.
Exactly. You know exactly where to go.
What is Assange's motivation here, Brett? Is it politics? Is it fame? Is it anti-Americanism or all of the above?
Well, I think it's all of the above. I mean, he gave an interview to the German news weekly Der Spiegel, which also was one of the papers that published a lot of this material, saying, he said, I love crushing bastards. And in his view, the bastards are NATO, the American army,
allies.
The people who are trying to defend girls, who are trying to go to school, women who don't want to be under burqas, Afghans who want a better life. The bastards are not the Taliban or their allies in the radically Islamist groupings in Pakistan and Afghanistan who are throwing acid on girls' faces and the rest of it.
Looking big picture on this, not just the battlefield tactical stuff, which we've discussed, was there any information that was released in these documents that was warranted in terms of the public interest, you think, that we really didn't know that we're glad we now know?
Not at all, actually, because I mean, I think this has been one of the most transparent wars. In fact, both this war and the Iraq war, we know exactly what was going on. The issue with the Pentagon Papers back in Vietnam was that the government was not telling the full truth about our involvement. Everything that came out here has been reported, widely discussed. And I think the collateral damage here will be both to the possible Taliban informants, but also after 9/11 we made great progress in getting the CIA to cooperate with the Pentagon, to cooperate with other intelligence agencies. And before, they didn't want to cooperate because they were afraid of this very sort of leak.
I want to read a section from an op-ed we ran, terrific op-ed by Noah Schachtman this week, about who was actually at a battle in Afghanistan that was then reflected in those documents. And he wrote for us, "That's not to say Echo Company hid the truth. It's that these reports from a harried commander at the farthest edge of the war zone are by nature clipped, compressed, chunky, and incomplete." End quote. What he's saying is that instead of actually revealing what happened on the battlefield, these documents may distort it.
Well, actually, let's hope they distort it enough so that it denies.
But in terms of the incident,
the actionable information. But picking up on something that Matt said, I think people need to also talk about the responsibility not just of Assange, but of the Times and the other two news organizations that released this, because you could make a credible case that there was a compelling public interest to release some of this material if it was revealing that the Bush administration or the Obama administration had effectively been lying to the American public, that things that were important about policy making towards the war had not previously been revealed. None of that.
But the Times does say that they vetted the documents more than Assange did and withheld different documents, including the names of those informants.
Yes, that's true, but they also validated and amplified the leak and brought it to public attention in a big way that might not have happened if it had simply appeared on WikiLeaks
So
alone.
they, in a sense, say that what Assange is doing is good. It's useful because they're running information with it, they're validating, they're saying, look, this what he's doing does provide a public service, even if we wouldn't publish everything that he does. You agree with Brett on that?
I do agree with Brett on this. I think the papers, I mean, we're all obviously working for a paper ourselves, believe in the First Amendment right, to free speech and free press, but there is a responsibility that the media has. They decided to take, there are millions of websites, WikiLeaks is one of them, they decided to take this site and turn it into a huge story. And that's why Assange went to them, because he was frustrated that
He thought it would be
previously-
amplified.
Exactly,
Yeah.
of course.
Well, what do you do just in terms of the American military to stop this sort of thing? Can you do something about Assange?
Well, you can find and very harshly prosecute whoever it was
Who leaked
this
But you
material.
can't do anything about Assange, really.
To Assange. Well, you can try to deny him or the countries where he has his servers, put diplomatic pressure on them to shut those servers down. This materially damages American security, and to the extent that those servers are in allied countries, it damages their security.
Prior
too.
restraint against the press? You want that government to be able to say you can't publish things, Brett?
Well, if people's lives are at risk, then that's a genuine issue that people that we need to take seriously.
All right, thanks, guys. When we come back.